Iwanu! That's it, you guys. All right, let me try these new jokes. Yeah, to go to sleep, I'll imagine myself like I'm in a tiny submarine, and I'm like on a secret mission, right, to locate and fucking destroy the enemy aircraft carrier, right? So I imagine like diving deep into the ocean and shit, like seeing whales and fucking, like even a fucking merman with a trident and shit. And then in the morning when I get my morning boner, I'll be like, oh, Periscope. Yeah, my favorite of the LGBT community are the L's, right? I think I could really talk to them, Like, you'd be like, oh, man, look at that chick's tits, right? They're fucking awesome, right? And we could talk about, like, camping or fucking Subarus and Xena and shit.
Fucking Xena.
Yeah, the first time I saw two L's, like, getting it on and shit, right? I was like, hello, this is something special right here. Fuck. And then, so they're cool, My second favorite are the T's, right? Because I noticed that most T's are L's, Like Nina Nguyen, right? She's cool, And then my third favorite are the Q's, right? Q's are cool, they're just having a blast with their fucking ball gowns and their heels and shit. One thing I love about the Q's is that for them, it's not really about sex, It's all just about having fun and shit. And that brings me to the G's, Because I'm not a G, so they give me the creeps and shit. Because for them, it's all about the sex, right? Yeah, there's a little bit of dancing and partying, but they're there to fucking get down and dirty and spread some STIs around and shit. Yeah, it's like Pokemon and shit, like, gotta get them all. Like, you got pride? Like, yeah, I got pride, and I got chlamydia. Yeah, I'm just kidding, I don't got chlamydia. It's herpes. Yeah, it's weird how whales sleep, right? Because they have to hold their breath, right? And so, like, they can only sleep for 30 minutes at a time. That's gotta be crazy living your life like that, They're like, all right, good night. All right, these are for the two Marines, right? Why did the Tyrannosaurus Rex carry an M16? Because he had small arms. All right, here's another dinosaur joke. Why does a pterodactyl have a silent P? Because he has a super loud D. Yeah, one of my buddies, his name is Jesus, right? And so I was like, hey, how do you spell that? Like J-E-S-U-S. I was like, that's Jesus, Your parents named you Jesus? Like, are you a priest or something? Like, what the fuck, And I was like, yeah, don't they have the word blasphemy in Spanish? And he was like, yeah, I got three brothers too. Fucking Muhammad, Ganesh, and Buddha. Korean war movies are the best, I'm not talking about Korean War, but the war movies that are made in Korea, right? Yeah, they're way better than fucking American war movies, there's movies like My Way, it totally blows fucking Saving Private Ryan out of the water. Anyway, I think the reason is because American war movies are like, hey, look, check this out, isn't it cool? But then they'll be like, war is bad, right? Whereas Korean war movies are more like, we know war is bad, but since we have to fight this war, we're gonna win it, It's just much better, right? And so one day I came across this Chinese war movie, right? It's a movie made in China about the Korean War, So I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting, right? Let me check this out, right? But because it's the Chinese and like all communists, right? So the movie's fucking lame, It's all about like, let's all work together for the good of the Communist Party and shit, It's just all fucking propaganda, right? It's like not even worth watching and shit. It's just a bunch of, to get you to act and think a certain way, right? It's like talking to my mom. Yeah. Let me get back to these. Yeah, I threw my back out really bad a couple weeks ago. And it was in a lot of pain, right? But my neighbor, she's a masseuse. She was like massaging my back and all the pain went away and shit. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good, Actually, I'm gonna go back there later today. Yeah, for a pulled groin. And, there's a lot of controversy about Kamala Harris's race, right? Like, is she Indian or is she black, And the truth is, like, her mom is Indian and her dad's black, right? And so the media, they always want us to focus on her black half. I'll tell you what, the second she becomes president, all the 7-Elevens are going to give out free Slurpees. And most people don't know this about myself, but last year I lost like 200 pounds. Woo! Yeah, I got divorced. Yeah, Korean food is terrible, right? Like we don't have proper like cookies and cakes and shit. No, we have dog, right? If you don't know what that is, like some of it's okay. It's like this mashed up rice cakes and stuff. And like some of it's okay, right? Like we have these duck balls, right? That have like this like sea jam or something in there. But most duck just tastes like nothing, you know? And it's like that's what we eat for celebrations and shit. Like during a wedding, you see mounds of duck like all over the fucking place. And then it looks cool, it's like colorful and whatever, but it's so bland and tasteless and shit. Yeah, it's like Dane Cook's jokes. Yeah, you know, soldiers, I was in the army, and soldiers' worst fear is poison gas, right? Like they instill that fear in me, kind of. And the second worst fear is dying before we get to try anal. Yeah, my dog, she's cool, right? She's a little miniature pinscher. But when she was a puppy, I didn't know what breed she was. And one time this guy came up to me, he's like, is that a wiener dog? And I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, wiener dog? No, she's a female. You know that famous picture of Bigfoot, where he's like this or whatever? That's actually taken from a 5-minute film of Bigfoot like walking through the woods, like in Central California or Northern California. And I was watching this documentary once, and I think that Bigfoot is real because in the documentary they were showing that Bigfoot is a female. Yeah, that like they zoomed in and you can see that Bigfoot has boobs, you know, and you can clearly see him like swaying around as she's walking and stuff. So I was like, that must be real, right? Because if it was fake, why would they put boobs on it? You know, they wouldn't do that, right? So, and you can clearly see them, right? And for not having a bra or anything, they're actually pretty well formed, you know. Oh man, Bigfoot got some nice tits. Like, what is this, Sasquatch gone wild shit? That's crazy, right? Like, never. I was thinking, man, never in a million years have I ever thought of jacking off to Bigfoot. Yeah, I think it sucks that, or whatever. It's not good to eat like baby animals, right? Like veal and lamb and shit. It's like, what the fuck, you know? Why can't you, why do they have to be babies, you know? Like, can't you like wait till they grow up a little bit? Yeah, like, you know, I know, whatever, in Korea, we only eat adult dogs. Yeah, if you don't know how to use chopsticks, you should probably learn, right? Because Asian people, when we see you fumbling around with your chopsticks and stuff, we lose all respect for you, you know? Yeah, we're like, so you don't know how to eat? Let's just be friends then. Yeah, I used to love going fishing, you know, when I was a kid. That was because I used to actually catch fish and shit. Yeah, the past 20 years I've been fishing, I haven't caught fucking shit. Nowadays I'm just standing in the sun fucking with a fishing pole getting skin cancer and shit. Yeah, dude walks by like, you catch anything? Yeah, melanoma. Yeah, you know, I grew up in Temple City, which is near Pasadena, and so, whatever. I grew up in the 80s too, but most of my classmates were white, right? And so all the, whatever, white girls, none of them ever thought of me as good looking, you know? Because I'm Asian, I look weird, right? And so that's how I thought about myself until I turned 15 and I went to Korea for the first time. Yeah, it was crazy, you know? You ever seen Kung Fu Panda 3? Where he goes back to Panda Land, you know? And everyone like looks like him and shit? That's exactly what it was like for me, you know? I was like, whoa, right? And so like, not only was my mind blown, so was my dick. Yeah, like fucking, you know, women here, they would like rate me like as a 4 or 5, I don't know. But in Korea, I was like a 9.9 shit. And I was like the tallest dude in the whole country and shit. Yeah. And I have an American accent, you know? And so for some Korean girl born and raised in Korea, all of a sudden see some tall Korean dude walk around with an American accent and shit, it was like, fire crotch, you know? Yeah, like I said, I was only 15, but fucking, I had grown women just throwing their pussies at me and shit. And I was like, oh shit, here we go, man. Yeah, so it was awesome, you know? So yeah, I'm totally gonna go back. So that's my plan, is I'm gonna be a famous comedian, I'm gonna go back to Korea and spend the rest of my days knee deep in a rice paddy, full of pussy. And you know what we call someone who's mixed black and Asian? We call them Blasians, right? And someone who's mixed Mexican and Asian, well, you can either call them Mexicans or Masians. You know what we call a guy who's mixed white and Asian? Asshole. Yeah, my brother, his wife, she calls him Oppa, you know, she's Korean. And in Korean, Oppa means older brother. I was like, what the fuck's that all about? It's fucking gross, right? Yeah, me and my ex-wife, she always just called me stepdad. Yeah, you know, the national dog of Korea is called a Chindoke. It looks kind of like a husky, right? But it's blonde and it has a curly tail, and it tastes like ham. Yeah, movie or whatever in 2003, movie came out of Korea called Old Boy, right? It was a huge hit, right? And so the very next summer, they released Old Boy like in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, even Vietnam and shit. And it's a huge hit everywhere, right? And so Quentin Tarantino even watched the movie, right? He's like, wow, that's fucking good, because Kill Bill came out the same year, right? And it's kind of the same. It's like revenge, but like a different take on it. And so Hollywood gets wind of this, right? They're like, look, like 500 million people have already paid to watch this fucking movie, right? This is going to be a sure fucking hit, So they buy the rights to Old Boy, right? And instead of just releasing it, they reshoot the whole fucking movie, just so they can recast the main guy from a Korean guy to a white guy, Josh Brolin, And in the year 2008, they come out with a new movie, Old Boy. And it totally bombs, Yeah, they only make like $5 million when it costs like $30 million to reshoot, right? That's $25 million just fucking down the drain. When if they would have just played the movie as it was, it would have made money. That's a perfect example, man. That fucking doesn't pay to be racist. Yeah, I'll tell you something. I'll leave that for later. They say an elephant never forgets, right? That's true, until it's their turn to take out the fucking trash. Yeah, they say Disneyland's the happiest place on earth. That's only if you're a little kid, right? Yeah, if you're a grown man, I'd say the happiest place on earth is South Figueroa Street. Yeah, they say California is now #1 in road rage in the whole nation. Finally, all my hard work's paying off. Yeah, you guys ever play doctor when you were little kids? Yeah, that's cool, Yeah, when I was kindergarten, I was playing doctor with one of my classmates. It was all fun until she started playing proctologist. Yeah, actually, that little dick Asian myth thing actually worked to my advantage a couple of months ago. I was at this open mic and this petite little 5'2" French lady, like, she totally singled me out in front of, amongst all the other comedians. I guess she was thinking like, hey, look at this Asian guy. He's probably got a lot of money and a little dick. Wrong. Yeah, open mic comedian, I don't have any money. And I have a normal sized dick, I know because I was in the army. Yeah, I'm good. And when she saw it, she was like, oh my God, your dick is huge. I was like, it's not that big, but thanks. Yeah, it's not the longest in the world, but it is a bit girthy, So upon initial insertion, she was like, ah! Yeah, I'm telling you, like hurting someone with your dick is like the manliest thing you could ever do, right? It's fucking awesome, I encourage all you guys to date women that are at least 6 inches or more shorter than you, Yeah, fucking when I saw my dick in her little hands, I was like, wow, maybe I did have a big dick. That's awesome. I felt like a porn star being with her and shit. But yeah, I give myself a porn star name now. I'd be E1. Ooh! I've seen these billboards around Hollywood about this blind guy that climbed to the top of Mount Everest. It's pretty inspiring, right? But I was thinking, well, how did he know he was on top of Mount Everest? For all he knows, he could have been on top of Mount Whitney, just like right up there. And I was thinking, actually, that's a pretty good business idea. Getting paid to take blind mountain climbers up to the top of Mount Everest. A lot of important things were invented in China, right? Paper, gunpowder, compass. One thing not invented in China, though, driving. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at about a month ago or whatever. I was doing comedy up here, and some dude sitting right there giving me the Jada Pinkett face. You ever seen the Jada Pinkett face? It's when they're looking at you like, eh. I was like, what the hell, dude? Don't be sitting there giving me no Jada Pinkett face. You better knock that shit off before I give you the Will Smith hand. Yeah, getting a girl to come is not easy, man, Or even when you're going down on someone, because, like, nothing sticks out of a vagina, right? Like, reaching there with your tongue and shit. It's like lapping up a puddle of water through a small hole, the crevice of 3 boulders and shit, I said, like, You're fucking down, it's like all itchy and shit, all hot. Back starts cramping up and shit, It's like a part-time job and shit. You're down there like, oh, man, hurry up. Like, what do you think about baseball and shit? Fuck. And finally she comes, you're like, woo! You're welcome, baby. Yeah, Koreans, we have a Thanksgiving, right? It's called Chuseok. It's just like a normal Thanksgiving, but we celebrate with our dead relatives. Like, what we'll do, we'll set a place for them, And then we'll have like the pictures there. Like for us, it's like my two grandparents and my aunt that passed away, right? And then during the meal, we'll like take a bite of food, you know, and we'll put it like in a bowl. And with liquor too, right? We can like soju and we'll like swish it around this thing and put it in a bowl. And it's kind of like you pour whatever beer onto a curb. But we do it with food, right? And their favorite food too, you know? Like my grandmother, her favorite food was a type of fish. And then my grandfather, like, for him, or like we'll put the fish in front of the picture. For my grandfather, we'll put my grandmother's picture under his picture like that. Because his favorite thing to eat was my grandmother's pussy.
Give it up for Ewald one more time.